Oh my God. We have found a massive personal loan from Upstart up to $50,000. Can you believe that? 50 grand. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sturdy Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about a humongous personal loan from Upstart. We're talking here about $50,000. Wonderful. Folks, before I even start, let me say that we have no relationship or association with Upstart. This video is purely informational and instructional. We're not receiving any compensation from them, so nothing else, all right? Let's first talk about the loan facts here. With Upstart, you have a constellation of loans you can get. Unsecured loans, co-signed loans in some cases, and debt consolidation loans. And the amount oscillates between $1,000 and $50,000. And the APR 6.76 all the way to 35.99%. No credit is good, is accepted. Bad credit is fine. Low credit is fine. They accept everything. There are no fees. We love that. And the term between 3 and 5 years. Now, this could be a problem for some people because, you know, if I want to get a loan and I don't want to be tied into a contract for 3 or 5 years, then Upstart is not really a good place for me. But you know what? 50 grand for 3 years or 5 years, it's a great bargain in our view. And the time to funding for this loan, 24 hours the latest. In other words, they can approve you within 24 hours. Isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful, right? And what about the extra conditions? The minimum FICO that Upstart is asking for is 560. You heard it right, 560. So when we speak about Upstart, this particular loan, there are a lot of things you need to be aware of. We love the fact that with Upstart, you have this loan particularly, you have fast funding. Okay, and what about the pros and cons here? For this loan, they accept borrowers with new to credit. So if you have no credit, they will accept you, and they can fund the business, as I just said, within 1 business day. And we love the fact that if you want to use the 50K for debt consolidation, they can actually they can provide direct payment to the creditors. Okay, so they don't have to give you the cash, and then you have to send the cash to the creditors. They will do it for you. And we love the fact, and so those are the pros. In our analysis, we have seen, based on our research, that some people have said that in some cases, Upstart has charged them an origination fee. We haven't seen that in our research, but we have read online and we have heard from some viewers that they've been charged origination fee. Even if they do, it's pretty minimal. And another thing is that another drawback, if you think about it, is that you only have 2 options in terms of duration, loan duration. It's got to be either 3 years or 5 years. So if that doesn't work for you, this could be a drawback. All right, folks. Now let's talk about Upstart because we want to know the player. Who is this player? Again, folks, I am talking to you about a massive personal loan from Upstart up to $50,000. Money you can use for a lot of things, right? A lot of things. When we talk about Upstart, what are we talking about? We're talking about a lender who has been around for a while. They are an online lender. They are great. We have actually reviewed them on many shows, and we love their loans. We love their loan process. You can use their loans for a variety of purposes, including debt consolidation, medical expenses, and home improvement. Or you can use the cash to go to Acapulco. Who knows, right? It's all about you. And we love the fact that they actually have a unique underwriting model. Here is a company that uses artificial intelligence and non-conventional data. We love that. You love the fact that they are pretty bespoke. So they look at your college education. Can you believe that? That's just great. They look in your college education, your job history, and residence to evaluate you as a borrower. In other words, even if you have bad credit, but you happen to have an MBA or a bachelor's degree in geology or finance, they're thinking, oh, wow, this person, this woman, this guy has potential. We're going to grant him or her some loan. And I love that. I really, really love that. And if you have been around the borrowing game or the lending game for a while, you know that a lot of traditional lenders, such as banks, they will focus almost exclusively on your credit reports, on your debt, income, and asset. They're not looking at your college education or your job history. So after evaluating Upstarts on tens of criteria, including loan variety, loan amount, generosity, cost, reputation, and customer service, we have assigned the company a score of 9.5 over 10. As a matter of fact, our judgment is been corroborated by reviews on Trustpilot. So on Trustpilot, they have a very high score, 4.9 stars out of 5. And this is from more than 10,000 reviews as of the date of this show. This is just great. And with Upstart, we love the fact that if you have a low score, you can still qualify. As long as you have a low score, but you have strong earning potential, they take care of you. They will actually review your application. They can fast your loan very fast. And we love the fact that you can use Upstart loans to build credit. The loans are affordable. The APR is not crazily high, as we've seen with other people, with other lenders. The loan is flexible, and we love the transparency also. And last but not the least, customer service, fantastic, fantastic. Now, folks, so I've spoken to you about Upstart at a glance. I've spoken to you about the loan, the facts of the loan itself. Now, let me talk to you about eligibility criteria. Folks, I want you to get passionate about what we're talking about here. We are talking about what? A gigantic loan, personal loan from Upstart. $50,000 that is potentially available to all kinds of credits. Okay, not just excellent credits. We're talking bad credit, fair credit. Everything goes. How do you qualify for this 50 grand loan from Upstart? Minimum credit score 560. Okay, it's not a problem. And they also, in some cases, will actually review people who have no credit history, as long as they're able to have a co-signer or a co-borrower. Your minimum gross income is $12,000. The cool thing here is that Upstart, for this $50,000 personal loan, has no educational criteria. In other words, they're not asking you to have a PhD in quantum physics. No. They just want you to have earning potential. If you happen to be a PhD student in quantum physics, that won't hurt you either, right? And so besides minimum credit score and minimum gross income, they want you to have employment. So you can have a full-time job offer starting in 6 months. You can have a regular part-time job or another source of regular income. So the bottom line here is they just want you to be employed or at least have money coming in. They want you to have some ka-ching coming in regularly. It's all about, from them, it's all about risk mitigation. It's all about making sure the borrower profile that you are presenting to them is amenable to their algorithm. Remember, they're looking at a constellation of criteria, not just your credit report, your income, your assets and debts. They're looking at other things. And to qualify for this loan, you also need to have a U.S. residential street address where you reside. Unless you are a military personnel on active duty, that's fine too. You must be at least 18 years old. You need to have a valid email account, and you need to have a personal bank account with a U.S. routing number required. So you got to have a U.S. routing number. Very important. I want to talk to you now about use of loan proceeds. What can you use the money for? Again, when we talk about money here, I am talking to you about a massive personal loan from Upstart, up to $50,000. All kinds of credits are accepted. Okay? So this loan that I'm speaking about, you can use it, and Upstart is pretty flexible about it. They've said it publicly, and they've said it. They have said it in private via email, via communications we have with them, that borrowers are free to use the loan proceeds for a variety of purposes. For example, You can use the money to move for moving purposes, right? You want to move. Let's say you just got a new job, or for family issues, or just to reset your life. You and your partner, or you yourself, you just decide to go on the other way, in another states, right? They will finance that. Upstart will give you a loan to finance that. Or let's say you just want to improve your home. Home improvement is a biggie. It's a big item when it comes to, it has a high approval potential with Upstart. You want to upgrade something, you want to, live comfortably simply because you just deserve it, or you just want to change things around in the house, or you have a new addition to the family, a beautiful jewel, a beautiful king or queen just joining the family. Those things will be seen favorably by the Upstart underwriting system. You can use the money for medical loans. We all know what goes on, right, with medical loans. That's crazy, right? Crazy. If God forbid something happens and you just end up in the hospital and you don't have the right type of insurance, or your insurance, even worse, doesn't want to cover it, then yeah, you can get up to $50,000 from Upstart to cover that. You can use the money also for debt consolidation. This is pretty cool, right? Now, when we speak about debt consolidation, you have to understand that a debt consolidation loan from Upstart can help you manage revolving lines of credit and high-cost loans that incur steep interest fees, right? For example, I'm talking credit cards, retail credit cards, gas cards, payday loans, title loans, all this kind of loans that you probably have, all these kinds of loans that you have taken in the past because cash was tight and you just needed to survive. So you can actually use the 50K from Upstart to cover that. You can use the cash for a wedding. Phew, I love weddings. It's just such a celebration of joy, right? But underneath that veneer of joy lies a deep constellation of issues, most of which are financial. Because who's going to cover that? Who's going to cover the wedding? So if you don't have the cash, if you don't have your partner, and you don't have the money, you can just you can borrow from Upstart. Even though this is another issue, but this is another topic for another day. But it's not really advised to borrow for a wedding, but that's another issue. One thing I also want to say here is that, and I think I've said it before, you can actually, instead of using the loans for I would say, for regular activities, for regular purposes, you can use the loan to start a business. Yes, you can start a business with an Upstart loan, especially $50,000. Imagine what you can do with $50,000. A lot of stuff, right? A lot of stuff. Well, guess what? Don't go anywhere, because I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sort of Kiwi Show. I'm still talking to you about a humongous personal loan from Upstart. We're talking about $50,000, folks. $50,000 that you, no matter your credit, can qualify for if you apply the right way. If you do the things that I'm going to show you in this show. So, what is the evidence needed? If you want to qualify for that $50,000 Upstart loan, there are a couple of things that you need to show Upstart. First, you want to make sure that you fill out the loan application properly. Okay, you want to explain why you're applying for the loan, how you're going to use the money. Don't lie, because if they find out that you are actually allowed on your application, this could be bad for future loans, and you don't want that, right? You don't want to burn bridges. So be truthful, be forthcoming. You want to talk about which assets you'll use the money for, in terms of like if you're borrowing to buy a car, a home, boat, whatever. I mean, I doubt that $50,000 will buy you a car, will buy you a home, but it depends on where you live in the country. But the point is, you can actually use that for down payments, yeah. And Upstart wants to know what other personal debts you have, and they want to know your creditors. They want to know also if this is a joint loan application, if you are borrowing, if you are co-borrowing or co-signing. And they want to have an idea of your personal background. Again, as I said, here is a company that uses algorithmic processes to check your application. So they do a 360 review, not just 180 review of your credit scores and income and debts. No, they're looking at your education. They're looking at your potential, your employment history. So this is why you want to attach, if possible, your resume. And again, folks, what I'm telling you here is that on the form online, you might not have the opportunity to add that info, but you can call them up later on and just add that info. You also want to add income tax returns, your personal financial statements. Okay, and if you have a very low score, let's say you have something below 500. Let's say you have some derogatory items on your credit reports. You can actually attach something called explanatory notes to the credit report, where you actually just explain things to them, what happened. Remember, the lender will pull your credit reports directly, but you want to provide some contextual explanatory notes to your credit reports, especially if your credit score is poor, really poor. All right, folks, now let's talk about something very interesting. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. So right now, how do you apply? Now, the thing is that and again, we're talking about what? We're talking about a huge personal loan from Upstart. We're talking up to $50,000. Imagine what you can do with that cash. A lot of stuff. And the cool thing about this loan is that you can qualify for it no matter your credit. Obviously, you might not get the whole $50,000 depending on your credit worthiness, but it's worth a shot. And I'm just going to show you how things go. Let's talk about how to apply. You can only apply online. Upstart is quintessentially an online lender. In other words, they don't have branches you can just walk into and speak to a live person, but it's okay because they're passing on the savings from their online operation to you as a borrower. So you have low APR and lower fees. So I'm showing you right now on the screen, you have a series of questions. It's a little survey that helps Upstart understand who you are as a borrower. So first, they want to know the amount that you want. Then they want to have an idea of the purpose of the loan. What are you using the loan for? Then you want to put your name and other information, your date of birth. You want to put your address, your email. This is important for them. Your phone number. They want you to mention your education. Remember, they pay attention a lot to your potential as a borrower, right? Your productive potential. They want you to mention your degree. Folks, everything you want to say here is very important that it has to be truthful. It has to be true. They want to actually talk about your income. If you have additional income, mention that. Because the bottom line here is that you want to tell them, hey, listen, I have sufficient cash flows coming into my coffers every month. Now you want to talk about your net worth. They want to know more about recent debt. And the thing is, they want you to register. Well, you got to do it. God knows what they do with your personal info, but they want you to register. I think it's for marketing purposes. And some people say that they sometimes sell the data. Who knows? We have no proof about that, so we can't really venture into that territory right now. And then they want you to certify. Now, I'm showing you on the screen right now, after the certification, what they will do is that they will verify stuff in their database. So if they cannot find your information based on your name, address, and date of birth, they will ask you for your social. And the thing is, if you don't qualify, you still got options, right? Remember, for this show, we intentionally put wrong data, which is why we didn't qualify. But when you apply, you need to input accurate information. And if you don't qualify for the 50K, they will direct you to M1, which is an alternative lender that lends up to $100,000. All right, folks. Now let me give you some pro tips. You have to understand. So I've been talking to you about eligibility and all that kind of stuff. But remember that the bottom line here is that if you do things right, we're talking about a massive personal loan from Upstart up to $50,000, right? That's the goal. That's the goal we have to focus on. And if you want to improve your chances of getting the loan from Upstart, there are a couple of things you have to do. You need to keep your documents in order. It's very important. Your financials, your tax returns, your personal financials. I'm talking about your personal balance sheet, your personal income statements, your personal cash flow statements. You want to maintain good credit before and after applying for the 50K loan from Upstart. And if you don't have a job, it's okay. I mean, of course, they pay attention a lot to employment, but they pay more attention to your potential. So if you don't have a job and you can demonstrate that you have cash coming in regularly, that's fine. So in other words, you want to show evidence of sufficient cash flows, sufficient and regular cash flow. Okay, and you also want to pay attention to the kind of loans you want from Upstart. Do you want a debt consolidation loan, an unsecured loan, a co-signed loan, or co-borrow loan? It's very important. And please be ready to get back to them after the application. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is that if they ask you for additional information, don't drag your feet, because that's going to create an environment where they might not trust you. So you want to get, normally with Upstart, they have done everything so well at the business model level that they do everything electronically. They check your data, they will pre-qualify you. All of this is handled algorithmically. So the algorithm does a great job at making sure that they put all they just take care of all the elements they need to take care of to approve you. But if they need additional information, please get back to them as soon as possible. That will really, really increase your chances of getting, again, the $50,000 personal loan from Upstart. All right, folks, this was it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about a massive personal loan from Upstart. We're talking $50,000, all kinds of credits accepted. So I spoke to you about the facts of the loan. I gave you a synopsis of Upstart. I spoke to you about the eligibility criteria, the use of loan proceeds, the evidence you need to provide, how to apply, and last but not the least, I gave you some pro tips that will help you qualify the first time around for the $50,000 personal loan from Upstart. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.